It was one of the longest discussed and most chaotic debates in modern history. A debate that left revolutions in the past, toppled empires, bankrupted the wealthy of nations, and split the world in two. For more than 100 years, capitalism and socialism were not just economic theories, they were battle lines. Behind every patriotic speech, every worker uprising, and every proxy war, this debate reshaped the world we live in. I am explaining what nobody wants to say. None of the systems work the way textbooks and universities promised. This is real life. It does not run on rules. When pressure increased, war, famine, inflation, collapse, reality revealed itself with brutal clarity. Welcome to History of Money. To the place where money, power, and history collide, and to the place where nothing is as simple as it seems. The story begins long before people ever used the words capitalism or socialism. For most of human history, the economy was not really an economy. It was a struggle for survival. Trying to fill one's stomach is not an economy. Kings promised divine rights. Landowners possessed almost everything. Peasants produced only enough not to starve. Progress was as slow as frozen glaciers. For thousands of years, human life was like a puppet game. If one rose, another fell. Wealth came from land, labor, and war. Productivity barely increased. For the lower classes, the idea that ordinary people could become rich through trade or innovation felt like a fiasco, almost the same as believing in real justice. Then individuals emerged. The Industrial Revolution had begun. This innovation shattered the world. In the late 1700s, Britain was like a treasure chest full of coal, iron, capital, and restless ambition. Machines replaced muscle, factories replaced small workshops, and a new power appeared, the power of private capital. For the first time, individuals could invest, take risks, and own property on a scale previously reserved only for kings. For the public, this was madness, an unbelievable innovation. Productivity exploded. Wages rose for some while misery deepened for others. Inequality increased faster than any society had ever seen. It was not an opportunity for everyone. Pollution choked the cities. Children worked up to 12 hours a day. Slums seemed to produce disease. Yet no matter how ugly it was, one undeniable fact remained. Capitalism produced more goods, more wealth, and more speed than the world had ever seen. Socialism was born at this very moment, not as a utopian dream, but as a desperate reaction to the brutality of industrial capitalism. In the mid-1800s, writers such as Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels looked at factories, worker uprisings, and skies hidden by smoke, and concluded that the crime was the system itself. They saw capitalist wealth as stolen labor. They believed exploitation was disguised as opportunity. If workers owned factories collectively, if profit were shared equally, if production served human need rather than private gain, society would become just. No exploitation, no crisis cycles, rational planning and equal dignity. It looked clean, elegant, and moral. For millions crushed under the gears, it looked like justice. But this depended on perspective. Theory is one thing, real life is another. The first time socialism was tried on a national scale, it happened not in a classroom, but in the ashes of an empire. After the 1917 Russian Revolution, Lenin inherited a country that was starving, illiterate, and backward. The Tsar was dead. The old elites had fled or were executed. A new operating system was needed for 150 million people. The state seized land, factories, banks, and resources. Prices were set by bureaucrats. Production targets replaced profit. Private enterprise disappeared. In theory, it should have created perfect equality and efficiency. In practice, it created chaos. Without market prices, planners did not know what to produce. Without competition, innovation stopped. Without personal reward, workers did not go beyond the minimum. They did not want to. Shortages became normal. Queues became culture. Agriculture collapsed. Lenin was forced to retreat and allow limited private trade. Yet something interesting happened. Despite its failure, socialism remained attractive, because capitalism did not look good either. In the early 20th century, capitalism brought great growth, but also great instability. Speculation increased, monopolies strengthened. The rich lived like modern kings while millions suffered. In 1929, when the U.S. stock market collapsed, the system was struck in the heart. The Great Depression was not a recession. It was a global economic heart attack. Banks failed. Unemployment reached 25%. Financial systems collapsed. For many, capitalism looked fatal. By the 1930s, the world faced a reality. No system worked as promised. Socialism promised equality and delivered scarcity. Capitalism promised prosperity and delivered collapse. Then something worse came. The Second World War. War tested every system under maximum pressure. The Soviet Union mobilized resources centrally. The United States demonstrated the power of private innovation. After the war, the race was not ideology but performance, GDP, infrastructure, growth, and living standards. From 1945 to 1991, the world became a laboratory. On one side, the Soviet bloc with central planning. On the other, the United States and its allies with regulated capitalism and social safety nets. The results were dramatic. The USSR industrialized early, literacy increased, military power grew. But inefficiency, poor quality, and lack of innovation rotted the system. By the 1970s, it lagged in consumer technology. A country that built rockets could not build refrigerators. Capitalism adapted. Regulation, social security, and unemployment insurance appeared. It was not fair, but it became livable. By the 1980s, the gap widened. Western living standards rose. The Soviet economy stagnated. When the Berlin Wall fell in 1989, the issue was not ideology, but performance. The USSR was defeated not by bombs, but by empty shelves. Capitalism seemed to win, but not for long. In the 1990s and 2000s, finance exploded. Global supply chains formed. Debt and bubbles grew. The 2008 crisis showed that capitalism's instability had returned. Meanwhile, socialism returned in a softer form. Wealth taxes, free health care, strong unions. Younger generations began to question the system. Today, nobody wants pure capitalism or pure socialism. Scandinavia has free markets and a strong welfare state. The United States has strong innovation and large inequality. China has state-directed capitalism. All of them are hybrids. The truth is simple. Systems are shaped by human behavior. They must be. In capitalism, greed becomes innovation and then exploitation. In socialism, equality becomes unity and then repression. The issue is not which system, but who limits power. The system that adapts wins. Capitalism survived because it changed. Socialism survived where it merged with markets. Capitalism produces incentives, but also inequality. Socialism produces equality, but reduces efficiency. The modern economy carries the scars of this struggle. The problems of the 21st century, artificial intelligence, demographics, climate, debt, do not recognize ideology. The winners will be those who combine market creativity with public investment. No system works without protection. No economy lives without incentives. If power concentrates too much, society collapses. History did not choose capitalism or socialism. It chose whatever prevented collapse. The real fight was always the same: power. Power does not disappear. It only changes hands. Thank you for watching. If this was useful and you want to learn history, subscribe. History of Money.